put pressure on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. And nice to have you. Thanks for being here. Awesome, you all. Well, let's get our practice started in our new year, and we can set some positive intentions for our practice today. Like I said last class, the new year is a really nice time to cleanse, let go of the past, let go of clutter around us, literal clutter around us, mental, emotional, psychological clutter, clean things out, let it go. We're actually going to start in child's pose today. So you can get yourself comfortable in child's pose. Please use pillows and props behind you to sit on, behind the knee creases. If that helps, add your extra cushion underneath your shin bones. Use props under the forehead. Stack your hands under the forehead if the forehead doesn't easily come to the ground. And we can also stretch our fingers out and reach to the front of our mat. So I'll let us all just take a moment here to get into that position. I am going to put us on mute, but remember at any time, feel free to unmute yourself if you have any questions or you want to share, or use that little chat box down below. And I'm going to move on over as well. So child's pose, we can be in our wide knee child's pose, big toes touching. That will leave some space for our belly. It'll allow our chest and heart to sink a little further to the ground. If you want to slide some pillows between the knees, you can. We'll reach those fingertips forward if the head is on a prop or comes down to the mat. Spread the fingers nice and wide and reach the tips of your pointer fingers towards the front corners of the mat, creating a lot of extension through the side bodies. And keep pulling those sit bones down and back towards the ground. Let that heart melt towards the ground. Let the weight of the hips sink towards the ground. So we're giving our low back a nice big stretch. We should feel this across the whole lumbar spine, the muscles around the lumbar spine, around the hips. And now this is putting purposeful pressure on those knees. If you need to elevate the hips to come off the knees to modify, please do so. We'll get some of the benefit from the pose when we actually release it. And we're just going to sink down to the ground, start relaxing the body, start bringing our attention into the body, taking a quick mental scan here through the whole body. Let go of any tension or tightness we might find. Send some healing breaths to any areas of the body we might be healing or taking care of today. Start to feel and notice the breath in the body here, breathing in and out through the nose. We'll probably feel the breath a little bit differently, maybe more through the back of the body. So feel that expansion through the back of the heart, the rib cage, as we draw in this fresh air, prana, and energy for our new year. And those exhales are just as important to sink, to release, and let go, breathing all the way back out. Let's try one more nice big cycle of breath. Now we can stay connected to this nice deep breath. And on the next inhale, we'll float the head up. Walk the hands back in towards the body so that we can float the body back up. We'll bring the knees directly underneath our hips. Let's tuck our toes under here. Stack those joints. Fingers are still spread nice and wide. Pull the low belly in, and let's give our right leg a nice big stretch. So step the right foot to the back of the mat. Foot is to the floor. We may shift our weight back through that heel, opening the eye of the knee. Draw the right knee back down to the ground. Big stretch for the left leg. Stretch it back, ball the foot to the floor, shifting the weight slightly back so we can really stretch out the leg, get the blood flowing back there. We'll bring the left knee back down to the ground. Let's see if we have equal weight through both hands here. Re-extend that right leg back from the hip. This time, give the right glute a squeeze, the hamstring. Let's hover the right leg from the floor. The foot is still actively flexed here. Keep pulling in through that low belly. And we'll add the left arm, reaching the left arm forward. Good. Palm in, thumb up. So this wakes up the muscles in the body pretty quickly, challenges our balance. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale, the hand and the knee come down. Re-extend the left leg, low back and hips stay level. Squeeze that left glute, hamstring, hover left leg parallel to the floor. And extend the right arm forward. Palm faces in, thumb up. Spinal integration, hug those muscles to the bone. One more big breath in. Exhale, hand and knee come back down. Remember, at any time, we may rise up on our fingertips into Hasta Bandha or make fists for wrists if the wrists want to take a break. Let's start moving with our breath through a few rounds of our cat-cow. So on the inhale, we relax the belly, lift up the tailbone, create space all the way up the spine to the crown of the head. You look forward, belly relaxes down to the ground, sink the low back. And then as you exhale, scoop the tailbone under, pull the belly in, tuck the chin to the chest, look to the belly button. Inhale, sway the low back, lift up through the tailbone, look forward. Exhale, scoop, tuck, and round. So keep moving through these, creating some movement in the pelvis. Try to get some pelvic tilts in there. Try to breathe that breath all the way up and down the length of the spine, between the shoulder blades, head and neck, just loosening things up. Good. And then we'll balance ourselves out and come back to a neutral position. And then we're going to take ourselves towards the back of our mat. So walk yourself back, toes are still tucked under. So we're going to start our practice off today with some rounds of Surya Namaskar, sun salutations. These are traditionally practiced early in the morning at sunrise, welcoming the day, and it's a nice way to welcome in the new year. I'm going to do some modified versions of Surya Namaskar, so we'll be on the ground, and then we'll gradually build up so that we have a strong foundation and we know what our options are. So we're still in tabletop here. Our toes are tucked under, low bellies in. Go ahead and walk those hands at least one hand's distance forward. On the inhale, we're going to glide forward into our kneeling plank. So kneeling plank, we should still have a nice strong core. To test your alignment, lift your knees up just for a quick moment. You should be in a full plank position. Now we move one movement with breath, but we'll take it nice and slow, and you might need to take additional breaths. On the exhale, half chaturanga. Bend your elbows into your rib cage. We lower all the way down to the ground, all the way down. Chin stays forward, point the toes, keep those feet wider than the hips if you take care of your low back. Inhale, lift the heart into Bhujangasana. Use all the muscles down the back, including your glutes. Now on the exhale, we're gonna lower back down, tuck those toes, tuck the tailbone, pull the belly in, and push up. As you inhale, straighten your arms, kneeling plank. Exhale, we'll take our bow. So you're bowing back. The head doesn't need to touch. You're drawing your hips towards your heels. Inhale, move forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, bend those elbows in, lower all the way down to the ground. Point the toes, plant the feet. Inhale, squeeze your shoulder blades on your back. Squeeze, 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 lift your chest up, Bhujangasana, Cobra pose. Exhale, bring it back down. Tuck your toes, pull the belly in. Inhale, straighten your arms, push the ground away from you. Kneeling plank, you're on your knees. Exhale, take your bow. Now we're gonna try 2 more rounds. So follow your breath. Inhaling, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower down, try to control it all the way to the belly. Flatten the tops of the feet, squeeze the upper back, mid back, glutes. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, bring it all the way back down to the ground. Tuck the toes, the tailbone. Inhale, push up. Exhale, take a bow. So go ahead and do 1 more round with your breath. Nice. Remember, keep those elbows in. Good. Nice alignment. Really use your back to lift up into those cobras. Squeeze those muscles. On the exhale, you can lower back down if you're doing the modified, and then you really got to push down. Toes tuck under, tailbone tucks under. Exhale. Let's sit all the way back into child's pose for a moment. Sweep your hands back to your feet if it's an option so that your wrists get a break, and pump your fingers a little bit. So now we're going to build up a little bit. We're going to start adding our lunges like a modification for our warrior ones. But we're just giving our hands a quick break here and a little stretch for that low back. So next inhale, reach those hands forward, float the body back up into tabletop, toes tuck under. So we'll do one round of our flow, and then we'll start adding our lunges. And again, we're doing this in slow motion. Hands walk forward, draw the low belly and toes are tucked. Inhale, glide forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, nice controlled lower, half chaturanga, all the way down. Point those toes. Inhale if you want a little bit more. Some of you are doing a little different cobras, that's fine. You can stay lower, lift up higher. Exhale, bring it down, tuck toes. Inhale, straighten those arms, push it back up. Exhale, take our bow. Now this inhale, we're gonna lift our body back up. Take your right hand behind your right thigh and step your right foot forward. This is where you might wanna add some extra cushion under the left knee. If you're on a yoga mat, you can take the long edge and tuck it under so the knee has cushion. Back toes can stay under. Now, from here, walk your hands up one hand at a time to that front thigh. So you're drawing your left hip forward. Use your core. You can stay supported on the thigh, or we'll bring our arms up so that we're more balanced. Good. And like I said, we're gonna go nice and slow today. Take one more breath in. On the exhale, we come all the way back down. So the fingertips will touch down. Slide your right foot back to meet your left. Try to end up in kneeling plank. Exhale, lower down to the ground. Good. Inhale, take your version of your cobra, strengthening the back, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale, come down. Tuck toes and tailbone. Inhale, push the body back up to your kneeling plank. You might need to walk your hands in slightly to more of a tabletop. Left hand behind left thigh. Step that left foot forward. Take your time to get there. We don't want to jam our knees if you're taking care of your ankles. Add extra cushion under the right knee as needed. One hand at a time to that front thigh. Press that thigh away from you. Draw your right hip forward. Belly should still be pulled in. Some of us will get a stretch to that right hip. Stay here or reach those arms up for more of a balance. Keep breathing. We're taking a few more breaths in each pose. One more nice big breath in. Exhale. We come all the way back down to our fingertips. Slide that left foot back. Hands can move forward. So when our kneeling plank, exhale, bring it down to the ground. Inhale, improve your posture, strengthen your back muscles, cobra pose, lift the chest, squeeze your elbows in, tighten up the back. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, push up, kneeling plank. Exhale, take a bow. Hips draw back towards the heels, sink the head and the heart towards the ground. Good. Inhale, tabletop. Right hand behind right thigh, right foot steps forward. Add your cushion, pull your belly in, walk your hands up to front thigh. Press that thigh away from you, push your left hip forward. Low lunge. Good. From here, stay here or reach those arms up. Keep breathing in and out through the nose. We should start to feel a little warmer. I do. One more big breath in. Exhale, brings it down. Right foot steps back. Hands can walk slightly forward so we end up in our kneeling plank position, head in line with the spine. Exhale, half chaturanga, all the way down. Good job, you guys. Point those toes, use your back. Inhale, Bhujangasana, cobra pose. Lift the heart, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale in. Pull the belly and tuck the toes. Inhale, push up. Kneeling plank. Exhale. You can sink it back to a bow really quick. And then inhale, tabletop, hands can walk in. Left hand to left thigh, left foot steps forward. Walk your hands up to the thigh. Take your time, there's no hurry. Push that right thigh forward, pull the belly in. Add those arms if we like. Big breath in. Exhale, bring it all the way down. Left foot slides back. Walk hands forward, kneeling plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra pose. Give those upper back muscles a nice big squeeze. The hands underneath your shoulders. Feet should stay connected to the ground. Exhale, lower down. Pull that belly in, tuck those toes. Inhale, push up, kneeling plank. Exhale, we'll take a break in our child's pose again. So you can point the toes, slide your hands back to your feet or under the forehead, and we'll give our body a moment to breathe and to relax and to take pressure off our wrists. That was good. Everybody looked really good. Nice alignment. So we should feel some heat in our body now. Maybe a little change in the breath. Just always come back for a nice, smooth, even breath. One more breath in your child's pose. And then hands under the shoulders, tuck that chin. We'll roll it on up. We'll walk our hands back forward. So we should end up back in tabletop. Toes are tucked under, pull the belly in. Make sure your fingers are nice and wide. We're gonna press up and back, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And we'll hang out here for a few breaths. So parallel those feet, sink the heels equally towards the floor as much as possible. Walk your dog, pedaling the heels one at a time to the ground, bending the opposite knee to give those legs more of a stretch. We are in a gentle inversion here, so you want your head to relax down towards the ground. Keep pulling your belly towards your thighs. Bend your knees a little bit more if you feel like your back is getting pulled out of alignment. And try to sink your heart towards the thighs. Shifting your weight back down the legs. Fingers should be spread nice and wide. Distribute that weight through the first knuckle of the index finger and thumb, but roll those upper arm bones away from the ears. One more breath here. Inhale, we look forward to our hands. We step or walk our feet towards those hands. Uttanasana, so some of us modify, take your modifications. That might be bending the knees and elbows to thighs or hands on your thighs. If you want to stay in the deeper forward fold, keep your legs nice and strong. Keep pulling in and up through the Mula Bandha, the pelvic floor muscles, and Uddiyana Bandha, the lower abdominal muscles. Take a hold of your elbows if you want to ragdoll and loosen up the neck and shoulders. On the next inhale, let's walk our hands to our shin bones or higher. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Flatten out the back. Shoulder blades, squeezing. Squeeze them on your back. Not towards the ears. Pull your shoulder blades on the back. Good. And look slightly forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Again, inhale, halfway lift. Pull those shoulder blades together. Squeeze that pencil between the back of the heart. Iron out the back. Good. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale, halfway lift. If you want to locust the arms beside the body, you may bring the arms parallel to the torso, palms facing in. And then we're going to take a big breath in, sit back into our chair pose, reach our arms forward and up, and we should end up in Utkatasana. So Utkatasana, fierce pose. Knees point towards the toes. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Even if you bend a little bit the elbows, that's okay. Option, hands in front of the heart instead. From here, try to hover the right foot from the floor, just getting a little bit of balance into our practice here. Bring that foot down. Try the left foot. Bring that foot down, sink a little bit further down. And then inhale, straighten the legs, reach the fingertips all the way up to the ceiling. Even gazing upwards slightly, a lot of extension. Turn your palms out and exhale, the arms float down beside the body into Tadasana. So let's pause for a moment in this pose, our foundational pose for the rest of our standing postures today. Feet are still parallel to each other. Pick up the toes, spread them nice and wide. Let's turn our palms forward today to exaggerate that heart opening and to give that upper back a little bit of squeeze again to help improve our posture. Now back to the foundation and the feet. Really try to press down through the mound of the big toe and the inner heel. Mound of the pinky toe, outer heel. Equal weight in the feet as much as possible, unless we're modifying today. Draw front body to back body. Lengthen the upper buttock down to the ground. Make sure we're not jamming our knees backwards. They're unlocked, but the front of the thighs are strong. Head is floating on top of the shoulders. So we're gonna continue with some Surya Namaskar. Take your time, modify as needed. We already did our low flow, so we can always come back to that in our practice. So we'll wanna walk towards the top of our yoga mat if we're not already there. So move to the front of the mat. Again, following our breath, but no rush. On the inhale, sweep your arms out and up. Extended mountain. On the exhale, micro bend your knees, sweep your hands back around by your hips, and swan dive back to your version of forward fold. Some of us might not be going all the way. Inhale, halfway lift, squeeze the upper back, shoulder blades together. Now this exhale bends the knees and plants the hands back down to the ground. Take a big step back, 1 foot at a time, into plank position. You may be in kneeling plank if you like. Exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana. Make sure that the head stays aligned with the spine, all the way back down to our bellies. Flatten the tops of the feet, hands are underneath the shoulders. Inhale, lift the heart. Lift the heart, squeeze the back, lift the chest. You can lift your hands up if you want more. Lift the hands up from the floor. So you're using your back muscles to lift. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, push back up to plank. Exhale, float the hips back, downward facing dog. So it's a little bit of a modified version. I like to add a couple extra steps to help improve the strength of the body and just to slow it down a little bit. We're gonna pause in down dog for a few deep breaths. You may always drop down to the knees and tabletop or child's pose. Those are our modifications. One more breath. When we look forward, we'll baby step feet to hands, hands to feet, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, hands to shins or higher, squeeze your upper back. You're also welcome to locust your arms beside the torso. Exhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Arms are gonna reach forward and up. Inhale, reach all the way up to the ceiling, gazing upwards for a little bit of extension, straighten the legs. Exhale, turn your palms out. We should all end up back in mountain pose, Tadasana. So you're standing tall, your legs are straight, you're standing up, glue your body to that invisible wall. Pull those shoulder blades back, open the heart. Good, just pause for a moment. We're gonna do another round. Turn the palms out. Inhale, reach wide, all the way up. Drishti can move upwards for a little bit of extension. Exhale, micro bend the knees. Swan dive those arms into your forward fold. You might be going a little further. You might be doing a little bit less. Inhale, halfway lift. Squeeze the upper back. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Try to switch which foot you're using first. We tend to always step back with the same foot first. If you don't remember, just switch it up. Stepping back into plank pose. Exhale, lowering down, Chaturanga Dandasana, all the way to our belly. Chin is forward, flatten the feet. Squeeze the muscles of the back. Inhale, cobra pose. Strong upper back, lift the heart, lift the heart. Lift the hands if you want more. Exhale, bring it down. Tuck toes, tuck tail. Inhale, you can try to push back up to full plank or kneeling plank. Really strengthening the upper body, good. Exhale, pull the belly in. Shift those hips back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. We hang out here for a few deep breaths. Try to relax the head between those upper arms. Shift that weight back, bend into the knees if your back needs a little bit more lengthening. One more breath. Inhale, look forward. You can step, walk, or float your feet to your hands if there's any Ashtanga people out there. Forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Try to add those arms if they're there for you today, locusting them beside the torso. Beautiful. Exhale, sit back into Utkatasana. Arms reach forward and up. You're sitting back in that invisible chair. Inhale, straighten the legs. Reach up to the ceiling, gazing upwards. Turn the palms out. Exhale. Arms back down beside the body. Palms may turn forward. You're standing up nice and tall against that invisible wall. Pull the shoulder blades back, back of the head back. So again, we're gonna build a little bit more. I'm still gonna be modifying, but you can always take it up a notch if you want. Inhale, I'll give you the options. Reach wide and overhead. Extended mountain. Exhale, swan dive. Your version of Uttanasana, forward fold. Good. Inhale, halfway lift. Lift the heart, gaze slightly forward, activate the back muscles. Good. Exhale, bend the knees, plant the hands. Big step back to your plank. Again, try to switch which leg you use first. Alternating plank position or kneeling plank. Exhale, lower all the way down to the belly. Chaturanga Dandasana. Flatten the tops of the feet, squeeze your upper back, and inhale, lift the chest. Hands underneath the shoulders. Hands can come up. Good. Cobra pose. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes in the tail. Elbows should stay squeezing in. Push up. Kneeling plank or full plank. Exhale, shift your weight back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Or your tabletop or child's pose if you need those. Just breathe. Now we're going to move back into our lunges. The modification would be to bring the knees back down to the ground first. Right hand behind right thigh and safely step your right foot forward. You can come up from there, then hovering your left knee back away from the ground, walking your hands to that front thigh and pushing the body up. Or you can try to step your right foot straight forward from downward facing dog. So we should all end up in a high lunge. Pull the belly in. This is a balancing pose if we're up on the ball of the foot. Those of you taking care of feet and ankles, please modify. You can stay in high lunge, pull belly in. If you want, we'll angle that left heel in a few degrees. Virabhadrasana 1. Inhale, your hips are squared to the front of your mat. Your arms come up. Keep the neck long. A lot of length. Beautiful. We'll take an extra breath here. Feels good to open the heart. Right knee should be lunging to the middle of the right toes. Big breath in. Now in the exhale, we are going to come all the way back down. So if your heel's grounded, lift the left heel up. Fingertips come all the way back down to the floor. You may need to bring your hands back to the thigh first. Lower the left knee down first. Your choice. Once your fingertips touch down, right foot slides back. You'll either end up in kneeling plank or full plank. Good. Exhale. It's a vinyasa. Lower down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale. Squeeze the upper back. Bhujangasana. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Hands under the shoulders. Lift the hands up. Squeeze the upper back. Lift the heart. Lift the heart. Squeeze the back. Exhale. Lower down. Tuck toes and tailbone. Inhale. Push up. Kneeling or full plank. Exhale. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Or your modification, just pause and breathe. So other side, you may look forward and step your left forward straight from downward dog, or drop to the knees first. Left hand behind left thigh. Left foot steps forward. Fingertip lunge, hover the back knee up. You're always welcome to keep it down too. Hands walk up to the thigh, finding our balance. And then we pull the belly in and rise up. So again, left knee over ankle, pointing towards the middle of the foot. Important to keep the upper buttock anchoring down towards the ground. We'll feel a stretch through the front of the right hip. We're in high lunge. Those of you that want to spiral the right heel down and in slightly to Virabhadrasana 1 or Warrior 1. Good modification, staying down. Perfect. Shrug the shoulders from the ears. Try squaring the hips to the front of the mat. One more breath. And then we take one more big breath in. Pop up that back heel if you're down. Exhale, we come all the way back down. That might be modified. Hands to thigh, knee down, fingertips down. Step the left foot back. Here we go. You can always take a break in child's pose, kneeling plank or full plank. Exhale, lower the body down. Inhale, plant the tops of the feet. Squeeze the upper back to lift the heart. Hands are under the shoulders. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Even the buttock. Exhale, lower down. Tuck the toes in the tailbone. Press it up. Kneeling or full plank. Exhale, your resting pose. Down dog, tabletop, or child's pose. And just breathe. One more breath. Inhale, looks forward. Alternate which foot you step forward with. Walk feet to hands, hands to feet. Uttanasana, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, open the heart. Pull the shoulder blades together on the back. Hands to shin bones or higher, or locust those arms beside the torso. Exhale, sit back into Utkatasana, reaching the arms forward and up. Inhale, straighten the legs, reach all the way up to the ceiling. Drishti looks upward for a little bit more extension. Turn the palms out. Exhale, just the arms float back down beside the body into mountain pose. Fix the drishti on one spot. You may turn your palms forward, giving that heart a little bit more opening today. Just pause and breathe. Feel the breath, feel the body. Inhale, arms up. Bring the palms to touch and exhale, hands to heart. So we might take a moment to come off of our mat and move around a little bit because we might want some props for this next pose. We're going to move into Parshvottanasana, sometimes referred to as pyramid pose in English. So it means intense side stretch. This is going to be a big hamstring stretch. So if you do have a chair, you will take the chair and place it at the front of your mat with the seat facing forward. If you have yoga blocks, you'll take, if you have two, that would be ideal. You would take 2 yoga blocks, placing them shoulder width apart towards the front of your mat. If we don't have props today, don't worry about it. You might have a piece of furniture or a table nearby that you can use as well. So I'll let us get resituated as needed. And then we'll come back, stepping ourselves behind our props, but still facing the front of the mat. So we want our hips to remain as square as possible for this pose. So let's bring our hands onto our thighs, and we're gonna squeeze our palms in onto the side of our hips and kind of point our fingertips forward. These are our headlights shining forward. Few inches between those feet, they're still hips width apart. Pull your shoulder blades together on your back. Stand up tall, pull the belly in. Step back with your right foot. It's not a full lunge. It's maybe 2 feet or so. The heel will turn in slightly, so the toes will angle out just a few degrees. Now, if your right hip shifted back, push your right hip back forward so that your headlights are still shining forward. Unlock those knees. We're not jamming our knees backwards. The heart is still opening. Really important to stay connected to our core here. Take a big breath in. On the exhale, we're moving from the pelvis. So you can take a hold of your pelvis at this point if you want, and you're pouring your pelvis forward. You want to keep your low back and your hips nice and level. Press off that front foot. So some of us will come about halfway, and that will be enough. If you do have a prop in front of you, feel free to move your fingertips towards your blocks, the seat of your chair, and continue to breathe in the pose. There shouldn't be any rounding of the spine, at least initially. You want to keep the length through the front and back of the spine. We should be feeling this pose up the back of the left leg. So a nice big hamstring stretch all the way up into the hip. Some of us will feel it around the Achilles or the calf muscles if we're tight in that area. Drishti can be straight down towards that left big toe. And now some of you are a little further in the pose, and you're welcome to bring your fingertips to the floor, framing that left foot. If your belly is on your thigh or close to it, at this point you might take another version where you apply Jalandhara Bandha, throat lock. So you squeeze your chin to your chest and you try to get your forehead to your knee. And if it's pretty close, you may bend that left knee so that you can feel that connection of third eye to knee. But remember, don't force or push the body into the postures, the asanas. Our breath should remain even and smooth. This is a partial inversion as well. If we've gone further into it and our head is below our heart, we'll all try to take one more breath. Now the next inhale brings us halfway out of the pose, especially those of you that have gone further into it. You'll want to walk your fingertips back forward, bring your fingertips back onto your props, make sure you have equal weight in the legs, pull that belly in. On the exhale, you bring one hand at a time onto those hips, and then inhale, press off your front foot and come all the way up to the crown of the head. Inhale, inhale, inhale. Good. Exhale, steps the right foot forward. Arms float down beside the body. Pause in mountain pose, Tadasana. Fix the drishti on one spot. Just observe and notice the body and the breath. Inhale, reach the arms wide all the way up. Big stretch, create a little length in the front of the body. Exhale, turn your palms out, float the arms back down. Place your palms to the outside of the hips, point your fingertips forward, shine your headlights to the front of your mat. Step that left foot back. Again, it's not a full lunge, maybe a couple feet. That heel will turn in slightly. That left hip likes to shift out of alignment, so we'll bring our left hip back forward, right hip back, so the hips are pointing forward to the front of the mat. Unlock those knees, upper body lengthens down to the ground, pull that front body in. We can over-exaggerate the heart opening if we want. Give a little squeeze between your shoulder blades to help improve the posture. Take a hold of your hips at this point. Inhale, exhale, pour from the pelvis, and try to keep your hips and low back as level to the floor as possible. And hinge just slightly forward. Strong legs. The breath might take us a little further into the pose. Fingertips reaching towards our props. Try not to shift all of your energy forward into the pose. Keep some extension through that back foot as well. You can try to straighten through that right leg, intensifying the stretch up the back of the right leg. And as those muscles lengthen, we might be able to reach our fingertips to the floor, framing the right foot. And those of you that have the flexibility and your belly is near the top of that thigh or on it, drishti to the big toe. And then eventually you might add your throat lock, Jalandhara Bandha, and try to bring your forehead to the knee and add that additional compression. Otherwise, we'll stay right where we are and just continue to breathe. One more breath. And the next inhale, halfway lift. So we start to come about halfway out of the pose. Fingertips walk forward, back to our prop. Nice strong legs. Pull the belly in. Exhale, one hand at a time to your hips. And then inhale, press off that front foot. Make sure you're inhaling to come up. Exhale, left foot steps forward. Float the arms beside the body, stand tall in mountain pose. Inhale, reach those arms out wide and overhead. Create some extension through the front of the body. Palms touch. Exhale, hands to heart. This next inhale, you can take a big step back with either your left or your right foot. And then we're gonna pivot on our heels and point our toes to the long edge of our yoga mat. So we should all end up in a neutral stance facing one long edge of our mat. I said left or right because you might wanna still face the camera. And we'll have our feet parallel to each other. Extend those arms out. Now, if you wanna use props for this, you can, but I'm going to cue unsupported triangle pose. Utthita Trikonasana, so we will not be going as far into the pose, but this really does help tone and strengthen the waistline. So we extend the arms out. We might want to open the feet slightly wider. Ankles are almost as wide as our wrists. From here, inhale, pick up the right toes at the thigh bone. You're opening up the thigh, externally rotating it. Upper body should not move. So this is an open hip stance. Good. From here, draw that right hip crease in. Legs are straight but strong, no jamming of the knees. Inhale, a little extension forward. And then on this exhale, both side bodies should be equal in length. All we're doing is windmilling the arms. So that right hand's gonna come to the inside of the thigh, the palm is facing forward. And if you press the back of that hand into that inner thigh, you'll start to feel it working as a lever, a little bit of leverage to get a little bit more rotation through the upper body. So the heart's gonna be opening slightly. Gaze can stay down, forward, or up to that top thumb. Unsupported triangle pose. You'll really feel your waistline strengthening, supporting the core here. Legs are strong, equal weight in both feet. One more breath. Now on the inhale, we come up. So you gotta use your muscles to pull yourself up out of the pose, arms parallel. Exhale, turn the right toes back forward. So the toes should be pointing directly towards the long edge of the mat. Inhale, left toes up, spiral at the thigh bone. You're not just trying to open the foot, we're moving in the hip joint here. Knee to toes, legs straight but strong. Pull that left hip crease in towards the body. Inhale, slide along that invisible wall. Keep side bodies long. There should be no rounding in the spine laterally, just windmill the arms. And see if you can get the back of your left hand, palm faces forward to that inner thigh. And then give it just a gentle press, and you will feel that translate into the torso so that the right shoulder can open. And the neck should be long. Neck is an extension of that long spine. You might be getting a little stretch through that inner thigh, back of that left leg. Drishti is down, forward, or up to the top thumb. One more breath. The inhale pulls us up. Use the muscles, arms parallel. Turn your left toes to face forward. Inhale, turn your palms up to the ceiling. Reach the arms up. Bring the palms to touch. Exhale, hands to heart. From here, let's heel toe or step, step, step those feet in. And we are going to bring them all the way together at this point for our balancing pose, Vrikshasana or tree pose. So squeeze the insides of the feet and legs to touch. Compact the hips. Pull the belly in, lift up through those lower bandhas, relax the face and the head on the shoulders. Inhale, float right heel up from the floor. Again, in that thigh bone, hip socket, turn the knee out. We may keep our toes touching, or float the sole of the foot to the inner ankle or calf. Some of us like to reach down and place the foot to the inner thigh. That's fine as well. We're going to keep our drishti nice and focused. If you want to add a variation in the arms today, we may float our arms out wide, up to the ceiling, even taking our chin mudra in the hands, index finger to thumb. Try one more breath. Take a nice breath in. If the arms are up on our exhale, the hands will come back to center in front of the heart. We point the right knee forward, extend through that foot, try to straighten it out unless you're modifying, and then bring the foot back to the floor. Pause and Namaste. Keep your focus and your concentration. Other side, compact the hips, lift up through the pelvic floor to the low belly. Fix your drishti on one spot. Inhale, left heel up. At that hip, open the knee out. And try to find symmetry here if it's an option. So bringing this foot into the same exact spot as you did on your first side. Your pelvis should remain level so that I call it our pelvic bowl, water bowl, the water floating is nice and level and not pouring out side to side. Face should be nice and relaxed. Add any variations you might want to in the upper body. One more breath. If the arms are out wide, take one more nice big breath in. The exhale will pull our hands back to heart center. Points the knee forward. Reach out through that foot, straighten the leg. Lower it down. Pause and Namaste. Big breath in, draw a big circle. Reach your arms down, turn the palms out, reach them as wide as you can. All the way up to the ceiling, drishti to thumbs for a little bit of extension. Exhale, hands back to heart. All right, so we moved around a little bit. If we need to, we're gonna move ourselves again so that we end up back towards the front and top of our yoga mat. Open the feet so they're hips width apart. Pull front body to back body. Stand tall against that invisible wall. Reach the arms back beside the body. Palms turn forward, spread the fingers. Pull the shoulder blades together. Pull those low ribs in. Relax the neck. Big breath in. Reach those arms wide all the way up. One more time, drishti up, a little bit of extension. Exhale, bend those knees, hinge from the hips, swan dive. So the arms come back around and down into our individual version of Uttanasana, whatever that looks like. Let's take an extra breath here to give that back and the backs of those legs another stretch. Relax the head and neck. Inhale, halfway lift. Float the heart, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Your body's halfway to the floor. Exhale, bend your knees, plant your hands. Big step back to plank position. Try to switch up which foot you're moving first. You may take kneeling plank. We're gonna take a vinyasa. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana, all the way down to our belly. Point the toes, chin is forward. Inhale, squeeze the back to lift the heart, bhujangasana. Hands are underneath the shoulders. Hands are under the shoulders. Lift the heart, squeeze, lift the chest. Exhale, lower down to the ground. Tuck the toes under, tuck the tailbone under, keep your elbows in and push up. Kneeling or full plank. Exhale to your resting pose, Adho Mukha Svanasana, tabletop or child's pose. Take a breath or two here. One more breath if you're in down dog. Inhale, lift your heels up nice and high. Come up on your toes. On our exhale, we're going to bring the knees to the floor, point the toes, and sit back in a child's pose. We can walk our hands back underneath the forehead, sweep the hands all the way to the feet, draping the upper body over the thighs. Hands under the shoulders, tuck that chin. Inhale, round it up. Stack that vertebra. Shift over to either hip and release your feet in front of you. So we are going to come into a seated position to do some more work here. I would highly recommend sitting up on something. So you want to get your big pillow, your solid cushion, a folded blanket or two. You can sit up on a yoga block. It's nice and firm if you have bolsters. We do want a firmer surface. And the reason we want to sit up tall, or that we want to sit our sit bones up, is so that we can sit up tall. We're not rounding or hunching. It's important for our breath work and our posture in general. Any position, you can take Sukhasana, easy cross, heel to heel. If you're taking care of ankles, feet, knees today, if you need to make other adjustments in your seat or support the knees, do so. Low belly's pulled in, hearts open. So Chaya had a wonderful suggestion and shared her story from one of her classes and students. And so there's a whole yoga dedicated just to the eyes. And we're going to do some of that practice today. Couple things to just be mindful of when we do our eye yoga. If it causes any sharp shooting pain, obviously we don't want to do it. For some of these practices, they can be quite intense. And you actually do them until your eyes tear up. The point is to get to that point. We're not going to do that today, but some people, their eyes might water more quickly. If you wear glasses, you'll keep your glasses on. You can try without them. And then again, just be mindful. We don't want to cause too much strain on the eyes, but they're really wonderful exercises. So the first one we're going to do is going to be in adjusting our gaze from nearsighted to farsighted. Doesn't matter which hand you use, you'll just float up one arm and you'll keep your arm straight and extended, and you're just gonna stick your thumb up like you're hitching a ride. And you bring it directly in front of your gaze. So kind of right in front of the tip of the nose. So what we'll be doing is shifting our focus from the tip of our thumb to a point that is beyond our thumb. And that distance will vary depending on the situation that we're in. So I have my laptop up on a stool, and I'm going to use the bar that runs underneath the stool under my laptop. If you don't have something that's close enough to you and you feel like it's too far away, you can take your yoga block and place it out in front of you 6 feet or so. Ideally, you want the object to be on your horizon or the same plane as your thumb. Posture is important here, so you want to sit up tall, pull your shoulder blades back, head over the shoulders. Now we can use our breath here too. I always like to incorporate the breathing. So if we want, doesn't matter which one we use, we can take a nice deep breath in and bring the tip of your thumb into focus. On the exhale, you switch your gaze to the object that's farther out. Bring it into focus. Inhale back to the thumb. Exhale back to the distant object. Now you can take it further if you want, so you can bring your gaze back to your thumb and find another object that's further away and try to bring that into focus. So your eyes have to do a little bit more adjusting. Keep going back and forth, thumb to object. Follow the breath if that feels comfortable for you. Try one more round, so one more breath. And then relax that arm. That works the arms. Give your shoulders a little bit of a roll, and then close your eyes. Always important to rest the eyes. Simply close the eyelids. Relax the face, drop the shoulders from the ears, but keep your posture Sit up tall, tall, tall. And then gently open the eyelids. So switch arms just to use a different arm, give your other arm a break. So same thing, you're gonna extend the arm straight out, thumb is up, so you're hitching a ride right in front of your gaze. Now this one's tricky because our brain wants us to move our head. Do not move your head. All we're gonna try to do is move our eyes to our furthest point in our peripheral vision. So keep your nose pointing straight forward. Look at your thumb. Now take your thumb and open it out to the side and your eyes follow the tip of your thumb, not the head. Do not turn your head. Keep your nose pointing forward. You can open your eyes wider, it helps, and you try to go as far as you can, but as soon as your thumb is out of your vision, you stop, and then you bring it back. Keep your eyes on your thumb, eyes on the thumb the whole time. The head should not move. Try it again. Eyes on the thumb. Point your nose forward. Do not move the head, just the eyeballs. Open them wide. That head wants to turn, I know. See how far you go. Bring it back. Try to keep your eyes on the thumb. Same thing, you can move with the breath, so you can go and inhale out. And then exhale back. And after that turn, release that arm down. We'll do the other side. So we should have done 3 on that side. Extend the other arm out straight in front of the tip of the nose. Keep that tip of the nose pointing forward. Start to move that thumb out. Now one side will be different than the other probably. We all tend to have a dominant eye. This side is not as strong for me. It's hard for me to keep my gaze. If you want to incorporate the breath work, you can take a breath in, keeping that thumb in focus, just the eyes, and exhale it back. Good, try one more round. After that third round, and you bring the thumb back, relax the hand down. Close the eyes, let the eyes relax. Relax the face. Mind your posture, you should still be sitting up nice and tall. And then inhale, flutter the eyelids open. Sitting cross-legged, wiggle your feet, uncross. We're gonna come back to a seat, but switch the cross, opposite foot in front. We're just gonna do one more exercise, and this is a resting exercise. This one I do sometimes in class. It's called palming. It's a relaxing exercise for the eyes, and you should practice palming after doing some of these eye exercises. And it's really good to do if you've been reading for a long time or staring at a screen. You wanna take those eye breaks. So take your hands together and start rubbing them vigorously, as hard as you can. We're creating heat and friction in the hands, so we should feel them warm up. And once they get nice and warm, you cup your hands and you place them on top of the eyes. There is no pressure on the eyeballs. You're creating 2 warm, dark pockets for the eyes to rest in. So eyes are closed. Try to seal them off completely so they're in pitch darkness. Sit up tall. One more breath. Now keep the eyelids closed, but start spreading the fingers, and you'll notice the light coming back in, the color change on the eyelids. And then from there, you can kind of flutter the eyelids open, relax the hands down into the lap, and bring the awareness back to the space around us. All right, good job. So let's give our legs a stretch, just stretch them out, wiggle them out. So it is time to come down onto our backs. I do want us to do one more little pose here, asana, to loosen things back up. So if you have a yoga strap, grab your yoga strap. If you do not have a strap, using a scarf or a tightly rolled towel will work. Have that nearby. You may also want to have any other props that you're going to want for final relaxation. So we'll need to rearrange ourselves one more time, coming to the middle of the mat. You can come to one side and walk yourself down safely to your back. We can place our feet and open the knees wide, reaching those fingertips forward, pulling the belly in, and trying to slowly come down, if that's okay for our backs today. Once we touch down, we'll have to loosen things up. So you'll want to loosen up your clothing. If you have ponytails, you need to move them out of the way so the back of the head can contact the floor. Even out your shoulders. Stretch both legs out down the middle of the mat and reach those arms overhead into our long body stretch. Point, flex the feet a couple times. Spread those fingers and toes. Little link side to side, right side and left side. Big breath in. On our exhale, let's float those arms down, walk our feet in. Draw the belly in to hug the knees in. Give the low back a little massage, rock side to side. And then take a hold of your strap. Swing it underneath the feet. Stretch those feet up towards the ceiling in waterfall pose. Now, I personally like to wrap the strap around my hands and have my arms straight and actually have the upper arm bones kind of hovering from the floor a little bit and just kind of lock my hands into place so my shoulders can be more relaxed. Some people like to slide their hands down the strap and bring the elbows to the ground beside them, wherever you want to be. Try to even out your feet as much as possible. Open up the eyes of those knees. Keep the low back grounded. Take a couple nice breaths here. Now keep the ball of the right foot in the strap. Bend the left knee to slide the foot out and lower the left leg to the ground. Anchor it all the way to the floor, but keep it active. So keep your left foot flexing. And let's just stretch out the back of the right leg here. So we're pressing the heel up. We can try to draw that right leg a little closer to the body. Bend the left knee, slide the left foot back in. Pull the left knee up and the left foot back up to waterfall pose. Bend the right knee, bring the right foot down, all the way to the ground. Press that right heel forward. The right leg is just as active. Press the left heel up. Stretch out the back of the left leg. So the more we can stretch out those hamstrings, the better our posture will be. Tight hamstrings pulls our pelvis out of alignment. It creates rounding through the spine. Bend the right knee, slide the right foot back in, pull the right knee in, right foot up, waterfall pose. Bend both knees, undo the strap. Just place it off to the ground here. Wiggle your fingers out if needed. Open those arms wide from the shoulders. Keep the feet parallel to each other. Lower the knees off to the right-hand side, supine twist. Add props underneath the legs as needed. Right hand to the top of that thigh to deepen the twist. Sink the left shoulder to the ground. Turn the head to the left. Taking a few deep breaths here to bring everything out. Relax the face, the throat, and the shoulders. The inhale floats the head and the knees back up to center. If we need to do a little adjustment before we do the other side, go ahead and do so. Feet parallel, exhale, knees to the left. Left hand at the top of the thigh to deepen the twist. Sink right shoulder to the floor, turn the head to the right. Eyes can be closed, slow the breathing down here at the end of our practice. Our next inhale floats the head and the knees back up to center. Make sure everything is in alignment. Exhale, wrapping those arms around the shin bones, giving our body and ourselves a nice big hug, filling ourselves up with gratitude for everything we just accomplished. Breathe it in. Our next exhale releases the whole body down into our final relaxation. So if you have props that you'd like to add into final relaxation today, please add them. Support the back of the head, the back of the heart, under the thighs or knees. Keeping the knees bent up, turning the toes slightly in is better for some of us in our backs. If you want to let your knees fall open in Baddha Konasana, if the body can relax in that pose, feel free to do so. Or simply stretch your legs out nice and wide. Let the feet flop open into Shavasana. Add eye coverings if you have them. If you have a towel or a scarf nearby or an eye pillow, you can gently cover the eyes, creating some darkness. If we need to place some weight on top of the body with pillows or blankets, do so. Once we're in a comfortable position, arm bones roll away from the body, palms up. Let the fingertips curl up naturally. Let the weight of the body sink into the floor. Let go of any expression on the face. Soften the brow, the eyebrow center. Feel those eyes sinking down into the sockets. Poof the cheeks, wiggle out the mouth, tongue, and jaw. Feel the weight of the arms, relaxing all the way down into the hands, the fingertips and centers of the palms. Feel the weight of the legs, relaxing all the way down the legs into the feet, the toes, the soles of the feet. Relax the belly, all of the abdominal muscles, the internal organs. You might notice a subtle rise and fall of the belly with the breath. And the breath becomes easy, quiet, and calm. When the mind wanders, we gently bring it back to this peaceful breath, giving ourselves just one more moment of today to let go, to feel a sense of surrender, and to simply be and breathe. And we'll slowly bring awareness back to the breath. And start to breathe life back through the body, waking up the toes, the fingertips, rocking the head, rolling ankles and wrists. Next inhale, arms reach overhead, stretch the legs out, create some space through the body again in our long body stretch. The exhale floats those arms down, walks the feet in, hugging the knees into the body to gently rock side to side. Right arm falls beside the head, rolling onto our right side, cradling the head on top of the arm, pausing for a moment, Supta Balasana, sleeping baby pose. Maybe setting a positive intention or mantra here to take with us off of our mats into our daily lives. Eyes stay soft or closed, press down into the ground to bring the body back up. We will revisit any comfortable seated posture and take just a couple more breaths together today. So find those sit bones, create length up the back through the crown of the head, sitting up tall. Minding our surroundings, arms float off beside the body. Turn the palms up. Nice deep breath in. Float those arms up to the ceiling, and let's gather up everything we need for the rest of our day. Turning those palms back out. Big breath out. Float the arms all the way back down and let go of all that other junk we don't need today. And then one more breath. Inhale, reach it up. Palms touch, exhale, hands to Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. Humbly bow the head down to our heart to honor and thank ourselves, our bodies, each other, and anyone else that continues to make it possible for us to come together and practice our yoga together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace.